The Aviva Premiership returns back from European action for round 13 matches. With 10 rounds remaining until the end of the Premiership season, teams are in hot pursuit of runaway leaders Saracens and Northampton. Worcester welcome Leicester Tigers to six ways. With just 5 home games remaining, the Warriors realistically need to start winning them to have any chance of the top flight rugby next year. 2 minutes into the match, Worcester fly half Paul Warwick threw a pass that ended up in Nicky Goniver's grasp. The Fijian cantered in to score his 6th try of the season. Toby Flood added the extras and it was 7-0. Chris Pennell then put the Warriors into the lead with 3 penalties to lead midway through the first half, before Nicky Goniver crossed the whitewash for his second. Flood converted and both sides added a further penalty before the break. At half-time, Tigers led 12-17. The Warriors started the second half well, and after 25 phases, winger Josh Drowning levelled the scores after Andrew Small had consulted with the TMO. Pennell made the tough kick look easy. The teams traded the lead until Toby Flood put Leicester 22-23 ahead with 10 minutes to go. The Warriors fought to the death and in the dying minutes nearly got the breakthrough they needed. But the man of the match, Chris Pennell, was to make his first mistake of the night when he lost the ball on full time. So yet another good performance from the Warriors, making it even harder to understand why the team can't get a win for love nor money. For Leicester, they march on to the top 4. It's 12 years since Gloucester last beat Sale on their own turf, but the pre-match talk from the Cherry and White had been quietly confident, and they very quickly showed why. Jimmy Cowan's grubber kick was emphatically finished by Martin Thomas with just a minute gone. Sale's response came from fullback Rob Miller, back from the Saxons and heading for Wasps at the end of the season, over in the corner. Charlie Sharples took full advantage of the bouncing ball and rode his luck and a tap tackle to sneak home. Gloucester prop Silapua Fissi was sin-binned and the 13 left were swept aside again with Braid in possession. Once more, Sale had the try bonus point in the bag and the win too. Gloucester did the rest of the scoring. 3 penalties from Freddie Burns ensured Nigel Davis' side didn't leave empty-handed, although there was still time for one last act of ill-discipline from the visitors. Miller couldn't round off his own very good evening with one last penalty, and Gloucester held on to a losing bonus point and 9th place. Bath Rugby overcame the loss of several key personnel early in the game to run out comfortable 24-6 winners over Newcastle Falcons in windy conditions and extend their impressive home record. It's more than 4 years since the Falcons last won at the Rec, and they never looked like ending that run despite leading 6-3 shortly after the interval. Kiwi Houston replaced Carl Ferns in the starting lineup after the England man suffered an injury in the warm-up. And the game was only 8 minutes old when Noah Cato caught Bath's Nick Benjamin in the face, forcing the fullback from the field to be replaced by Aguja, with Anthony Watson moving from the wing to the number 15 slot. Rob Webber followed Benjamin off the field with a lower leg injury, Ross Batty replacing him as Bath faced 72 minutes without 3 of their first choice side. But a moment of class from George Ford got Bath's nose back in front, and they went on to win comfortably with second half tries from Horacio Aguja, Leroy Houston and Francis Lowe at the death. Bath ran out comfortable winners and secured 3rd place in the Aviva Premiership. Sarries welcomed London Irish to Allianz Park on a blustery afternoon in North London. Even though the home team was short of several internationals involved in the Six Nations, they boasted a starting 15 containing no fewer than 304 international caps between them. And yet in spite of this, the hosts were 3-0 down from the outset when James O'Connor converted a penalty from halfway. Irish were then put under a period of sustained pressure, and when Fergus Mulcrone committed yet another cynical foul in their own half, referee Dean Richards lost his temper and brandished a yellow card. Saracens punished their visitors with a try from Marcelo Bosch, the Argentines first in the Premiership in Saracens' colours, but their lead was short-lived. Matt Parr made his Premiership bow 12 years ago for Sale, and has since had a spell at Saracens before finally being given a regular run in the first team by Brian Smith, this time at Irish, and he rewarded the coach's faith with his first ever Premiership try midway through the half. Hodgson reduced the deficit to 2 with a penalty 10 minutes before the break, and it looked as though they would end the half trailing by this small margin in spite of playing into the wind. However, that was all to change in the concluding 4 minutes of the half, as Irish ran in 2 tries. The first was scored by Alex Lewington after a charge down in midfield, the winger then released by Tom O'Leary. And then from the kick-off, Lewington turned provider, with some neat football skills setting George Skivington free to score on his 150th Premiership appearance. Sarries mustered just a solitary try in the second period through Shout Bricks. A first loss to Allianz Park in the regular season for Sarries, Final score 22-13.
Obviously it's disappointing for us to lose a game like that at home. We haven't lost at home all season, so give London Irish a lot of credit today. I thought they were magnificent, especially in the second half. The way they worked, they defended really well today, and they were too good for us in the day.
Northampton Saints travelled to Sunny Park to face Exeter's Chiefs and claim top spot in the Aviva Premiership. Northampton had set their sights on top spot following Saracens' slip-up earlier in the day, and they had an early advantage as Exeter were reduced to 14 men. Skipper Dean Munn was sin-binned after being penalised for stamping on Northampton's number 8 Sam Dickinson. The 8,000-strong Exeter crowd roared the Chiefs on and took the lead through Steenson's penalty after Alex Waller was punished for a high tackle. Saints countered and were soon in front as Sammy Manoa sent Kiwi fullback James Wilson over. Back came Exeter, with Steenson eventually hitting the target to put the Chiefs in front. But they didn't keep their lead for long, as Northampton mounted a charge towards the home line, and Manoa kept his balance well to score in the corner. Myler again missed a tough conversion against the wind, before Steenson brought the Chiefs back to within a point after Celesi Marthu was punished for a high tackle. Northampton held the lead going into the break, but they were hit by a sin binning just 3 minutes after the restart, as Greg Gardner carded GJ Van Veltzer for obstruction. Exeter made their opponents pay, and after Dave Ewers was denied by the TMO, scrum half Lewis started over the line. Steenson made the kick to put the Chiefs 16-10 up with 25 minutes left. It was Northampton who sensed victory. The pressure paid as a series of big scrums from the visiting pack set up PC to cross the whitewash and reduce the score to 1 point. Myler kept his nerve to secure a 9th successive win for his side and send them to the top of the Premiership table. Sam Smith's late try snatched victory for Harlequins over London Wasps to move them back into the top 4 of the Aviva Premiership. The game had started at pace, with both sides trading early penalties. Carlisle were the first for the visitors, before Evans levelled immediately for Quins after Wasps were pinged for not rolling away. The breakthrough came on 28 minutes, as after a considerable amount of time being camped on the Quins line, the Wasp pack drove relentlessly towards the whitewash, forcing referee Luke Pearce to award the penalty try. Carlisle added the extras to put the hosts 10-3 up heading towards the half-hour mark, and the Wasp defence stood firm to guard their lead into the break. Bodka slotted over a 50th minute penalty to take the score to 10-6, and with time ticking down, they got themselves ahead for the first time in the match, as their continual pressure finally told, with Smith touching down in the corner on 77 minutes for a TMO-referred try. And while Bodka missed the conversion, it was still enough, as Quins completed the season's double over their opponents with the narrowest of wins. With the season now moving towards the business end of proceedings, it was Northampton who gained a hard-fought victory to go top of the table. Saracens fell to only their second defeat of the season against London Irish and dropped to second place. Bath stay third after a comfortable home win at the Rec, whilst Harlequins' victory keeps them tied on points with Leicester in 5th and 4 points behind Bath. Sale climbed to 6th after their excellent home win against Gloucester to keep pace with the mid-table pack. Wasps dropped to 7th after a narrow defeat to Harlequins, and Exeter remain in 8th place despite a narrow loss. Gloucester picked up a valuable bonus point to remain in 9th, and London Irish stay 10th after toppling the Premiership leader Saracens. Falcons continued their 4-year winless streak at the Rec, but remain well ahead of basement club Worcester, who still remain winless. So for all the latest Aviva Premiership highlights and full game replays, log on to premiershiprugby.tv.